How on earth can the unassuming swimming pool be terrifying? Watch on to find out when we see an expert diver's playground to a tranquil spot beside a raging waterfall. First though, let's talk about this record-breaking pool 57 stories up in the air. Marina Bay Sands Hotel, Singapore. There's no shortage of iconic landmarks in Singapore, but I think you'd have to agree that the Marina Bay Sands Hotel takes the cake for the coolest looking. It looks like a futuristic cruise ship docked on top of 3 tall skyscrapers. Right on the rooftop of this 57-story structure is the longest infinity swimming pool in the entire world, measuring an incredible 150 meters long. Swimmers are treated to stunning views of the Singapore skyline and Marina Bay. And because it's an infinity pool, there's no physical guardrails preventing you from falling off. If you go, just try to stay away from the edge, please. As for me, I'm afraid of heights. I'm not going. Hierve el Agua, Mexico. Hierve el Agua is one of the most impressive attractions in Oaxaca City. Its natural spring pools give swimmers spectacular views, including the majestic sight of petrified rock structures that look like waterfalls frozen in time. The name itself means boiling waters, but swimmers needn't worry about burning up. Like most hot springs, the water does boil up from the ground due to the Earth's pressure, but here it's perfectly swimmable. What's terrifying about this area is the drive to get there, not the pool itself. It requires navigating unpaved roads alongside the mountain. Sections of road do not have safety barriers, making it challenging to avoid oncoming traffic. Yeah, the risk of falling off these cliffs is very, very real. Visitors who are willing to endure the death-defying drive are rewarded instantly. The view of the Oaxaca landscape from high up the mountains is said to be one of the most spectacular sceneries in the entire world. Jumeirah Dhevanafushi Resort, Maldives. The Maldives is one of the most popular vacation getaways. It's home to pristine white beaches, crystal clear waters, and great tropical weather. There's also a wide range of water activities too to satisfy every adventurer. Also, it's popular for its houses over the water, such as the ones by the Jumeirah Resort. It'll cost you, but in return you get to access a private beach island away from the rest of the crowd. And the villas here are simply the largest and most luxurious in the entire archipelago. Each villa has separate living and dining areas, and each room has its own bathroom. Pick from the private patio or the outdoor tub to soak in the ocean views. They add in fancy touches like marble fixtures, luxury brand bath salts, and personalized 24-hour butler service, and you might never want to leave the room. Be careful though when swimming in the villa's private pool. They look like they seamlessly drop off right into the ocean water. Being unable to see or feel the boundaries of the pool can be quite a scary experience, and you might be better off swimming in the resort's inland pool instead. Holiday Inn Shanghai, Pudong, China. The Shanghai Pudong branch of Holiday Inn wanted to create a unique vacation spot right in the middle of the hustle and bustle of the Chinese city. And guess what? They decided to build the scariest pool in the world. The 98-foot-long indoor pool looks like the first Jenga block jutting out of an otherwise normal-looking skyscraper. It's located on the 24th floor and hangs 320 feet above the traffic below. The pool itself is housed completely indoors and is only 5 feet at its deepest point. But what freaks us out is that glass bottom. Engineers reassured that the pool's bottom was constructed using toughened glass, so accidents are not likely to happen. And hotel guests seem to enjoy it. But I gotta pass on this one. I'm certainly not gonna wait around for the Jenga piece to fall off. Belmont Hotel, Caruso, Italy. Look, I'm sure the Belmont Caruso Hotel is a great establishment. It is, after all, regarded as one of the most exclusive accommodations in the country. But the fact is that this 700-year-old hotel sits on top of a cliff that just doesn't sit right with me. Falling off the cliff means a scary 1,000-foot drop into the Amalfi Coast. Sure, this scenario is unlikely to happen, unless you find yourself sitting at, say, the highest point of the hotel, right at the edge of a cliff. That's exactly where you can find the Belmont Hotel Caruso Infinity Pool. The sapphire pool water appears to extend straight into the ocean. That's exactly where you'll be if you swim over the edge, or if the structure falls while you're in it. Yes, the views are jaw-dropping and the gardens below are gorgeous, but we're still noping out of this one. Alright, fine, maybe we'll settle for a lounge chair by the poolside and enjoy the scenery, but that's about it really. Nemo 33 Pool, Brussels, Belgium. Nemo 33 is the largest indoor swimming pool in the entire world, but don't book your tickets just yet. This is because unless you have diving experience, you might not make the most out of your visit. The number in the name indicates the deepest point for its pool. For 10 years, its 33-meter dive site was the deepest in the world, and it isn't just a dive site too. There are underwater caverns, tunnels, and even fresh air pit stops underwater, in case a diver needs to replenish air during their quest to conquer the entire depth. If you can't dive, simply watch your friends. There's a lot of porthole windows throughout the complex that show a view of the pool at various depths. Even the Thai restaurant is surrounded by these underwater panels for a deep-sea culinary experience. Recreational diving isn't the only thing Nemo 33 is known for. The entire pool also doubles as an underwater stage, designed for filmmakers, scientists, and the military. Talk about versatility. Might be dangerous for the average swimmer, but you can't deny that this multifunctional pool is truly one of a kind. Sky Condos, Peru. Did anyone ask for the sensation of swimming high up in the air? And unlike the Holiday Inn that inspired it, the pools are outdoor. If the crumbling pool structure doesn't kill the tenants, falling off that narrow ledge surely will. Also, do these people forget that Peru is home to frequent earthquakes? How would anyone in their right mind replace structurally sound concrete walls with large panels of dangerous glass? Well, the answer is Sky Condo. The design specification for these so-called sky condos actually answer this one. Sliding glass panels allow natural light and ventilation to flood the entire building. I'd rather be in a windowless tomb of an apartment if it means not needing a real coffin anytime soon. Now it's time for the day's best pick. This pool doesn't look that scary at all from the surface, but believe me, there's more to it than meets the eye. Y40 Deep Joy. If you have superior diving skills, head on over to Italy to check out the Y40 Deep Joy. If not, don't even try swimming because this pool is the scariest pool on Earth. Why is it scary? Because of its staggering 40-meter depth that would be dangerous to all but experienced divers. From the surface, it looks like any square pool, but after swimming 15 meters below, it constricts into a narrow well-like cavern that drops down a further 28 meters. At the bottom, there are a few underwater caverns where scuba divers can practice how to navigate the often challenging terrain on the ocean floor. Unlike most pools, this one is filled with water from nearby hot springs, giving the pool water a very comfortable temperature of 32 degrees Celsius to 34 degrees Celsius. While dives are best left to the experts, friends can watch their underwater escapades through a suspended transparent tunnel, which gives a full view of dive attempts to reach the bottom. At one point, the Y40 was the deepest pool in the world. It might not hold that record now, but it remains a popular destination for divers and underwater athletes to sharpen their skills. Homestead Resort in Midway, Utah. The Homestead Crater formed slowly over 10,000 years and has created a natural formation that was once celebrated by the state of Utah. All it took, though, was one fatality for this place to be a shell of its former self. Before that, it was a hugely popular attraction for casual swimmers, snorkelers, and even open water divers. This is because it had something for virtually anyone of any aquatic skill level. You were bound to find something to do, even if you didn't want to touch the water. Its geothermal hot spring was a favorite spot to swim at. The 65-foot dive site under the crest of the beehive-shaped rock dome was a popular sight to behold for professional divers. It became such a popular family destination, at least until the crater claimed its first life. Patrick Van Dam was a trained open-water diver who had been to the crater several times. One fateful day in 2010, he dived in front of his instructors and disappeared into the darkness. He didn't come back up in the usual time it took to make that dive. Another instructor dove in and found his lifeless body at the bottom of the chasm. Despite their best attempts to revive him, Van Dam passed away. All it took was one death and a lawsuit for the crater to become a shell of its former self. The once lively, family-friendly compound has just become a footnote to the dangers of unsupervised open-water diving. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works. The Devil's Pool, Victoria Falls. With a name like the Devil's Pool, most people would be wise to stay away, and for good reason. One wrong step and you'll fall to your death from a giant waterfall. The Devil's Pool is situated on top of the Great Victoria Falls in Zambia in Africa. You might wonder who might be nuts to build a pool in this location, but the fact is, no one did. It was actually formed naturally from the erosion of soil taking place over thousands of years. And really, the result is breathtaking, because of the stunning views of the savannah from 355 meters up. The pool itself is surprisingly calm, despite standing right next to the turbulent currents of plummeting to the abyss. It's also just 10 feet of the deepest section, which makes it relatively safe. Granted, that's if you don't fall over the edge, of course. If you still want to visit despite the risks, you can book a tour with a single operator allowed to bring tourists to this location. Zombie and authorities limit pool visitors to 24 people at a time, for purposes of nature preservation and, of course, safety. Thankfully, the pool itself has not claimed any lives as of yet, but in 2009, a South African tour guide lost his life at a lower section of Victoria Falls. One of the tourists and his group slipped while jumping across a section along the edge of the waterfall. The guide quickly took to action to save the man, and he did succeed before slipping and falling 290 feet to his death. I don't know about you, but I'd rather much enjoy the scenery a few dozen meters from the edge. See you all next time!